the limit the limit the limit within which Hooke's law holds good. The limit within which Hooke's law holds good is elastic limit, plastic limit, Young's yield point, or proportional limit. Answer is proportional unit. The magnitude of shear stress induced in a shaft due to applied torque varies from maximum at the center to the zero at the circumference. From zero at center to maximum at circumference. From maximum at center to minimum at circumference and not zero. From maximum at center and not to zero at the circumference. The magnitude of shear stress induced in the shaft due to applied torque varies. Applied torque varies from maximum at center to minimum at circumference and not zero. Third number. Polar moment of inertia of the cross sectional of shaft of diameter d is pi dq upon 32 pi d power to the power 4 upon 32 pi dq upon 16 pi dq and pi d to the power 4 upon 16 pi d to the power 4 upon 32. A hollow shaft of the same cross-sectional area that of a valid shaft. A hollow shaft of a same circular cross-sectional area that of solid shaft can produce less torque, resist more torque, resist equal torque, or all of the above. The answer is resist more torque. Another question, the flexural rigidity of a beam. Flexural rigidity of a beam is EI or E upon I or I upon E or E upon I square. The answer is E upon I. Flexural rigidity of beam. Flexural rigidity of a beam. A beam is said to be loaded. A beam is said to be loaded in pure bending when bending moment and shear force are constant but not zero. Bending moment is changing linearly. Bending moment and shear force both are changing linearly. Bending moment is constant. The answer is bending moment is changing linearly. Bending moment is changing linearly. A high carbon steel specimen as compared with mild steel specimen. A high carbon steel specimen as compared with mild steel specimen is more ductility, is more strong, has a more defined yield point, or has more Poisson ratio. The answer is more ductility. Load required to produce a unit deflection is known as toughness, stiffness, flexibility. None of the stiffness. Load required to produce युनिट डिफ्लेक्सन लोड रिक्वायर्ड गर्छ त्यसले युनिट डिफ्लेक्सन त्यसलाई के भन्छ स्टिफनेस Which of the following features improves the fatigue strength of a metallic material? Which of the following features improves the fatigue strength of the metallic metal को fatigue strength कुन featuresले improve गर्छ? Increasing the temperature, scratching the surface, overstressing, understressing. 1 kg per centimeter square when converted into SI unit is जो हाम्रो छ 1 kgf सेन्ट पर सेन्टिमिटर स्क्वायर कन्भर्ट गर्छ एसआई युनिटमा यसको भ्यालु 0.0981 एमपिए हुन्छ कि 0.098 पिए हुन्छ कि 10 to the power 4 पिए हुन्छ कि 1 पिए हुन्छ यसको आन्सर 0.0981 पिए हुन्छ To express the strain stress relation for a homogeneous isotropic linearly elastic material, maximum number of material constant needed is 2, 3 or 6 or 9. Answer is 2. Deflection of the free end of a cantilever beam subjected to a concentrated load at the middle of a span is given by deflection of a free end of a cantilever beam free end मा जुन deflection हुन्छ subjected to a concentrated load at the middle of span is given by pi I cube upon 3 EI pi I cube upon 8 EI pi I cube upon 24 EI or 5 pi I cube upon 48 EI. The answer is 5 pi cube upon 48 EI. Shear center. What is shear center? What is shear center? Always considered with a centroid of a beam construction. Always lie within the boundaries of the cross section. Is a point in the plane of a beam cross sectional through which the resultant of the shear force must be passes. D is a point in the beam cross sectional representing zero stress. The answer is a point. Shear center is a point in the plane of the beam cross section through which the resultant of the force must passes. The maximum eccentricity of a compressive load acting on a short of a diameter d without producing tension at the base section. The maximum eccentricity of a compressive load acting on the short of a diameter d without producing tension at the base section is d upon 2 D upon 4 or D upon 6, D upon 8. Answer is D upon 8. The rigidity G is the term of modulus of elasticity E, and the Poisson's ratio B is given by 2E upon 1 plus B, or 2E upon 2 1 minus B, E upon 2 1 plus B, E upon 1 minus B. The answer is E upon 2 1 plus B. Modulus rigidity G in term of modulus of elasticity and Poisson's ratio is given by E upon 2 1 plus B, E upon 2 1 plus B. Another question: a circular shaft of length L, a circular shaft of length L subjected to a torque Tg, rigidity, and G is polar moment of inertia. Polar moment of inertia. The total angle of twist is given by TL upon GI. TL upon GI. TL upon GI. Maximum shear stress theory of failure. Maximum shear stress theory of failure is postulated by Stephen Rankine, Castiglione, or Teresa. The maximum shear stress theory of failure छ कसले बना छ टेरेसियाले. The maximum stress used in the analysis of bending beyond elastic limit, ultimate stress, allowable stress, yield stress, none of the above. Yield stress. Expansion is yield stress. A compressive member always tends to buckle in the direction of axial of load, minimum cross section, least radius of gyration perpendicular to the axis of the load, least radius of gyration. Compressive member always tends to buckle. Compressive member always tends to buckle. Buckle कुन axis मा? Least radius of gyration. Least radius of gyration मा. The maximum bending moment due to moving load on a simply supported beam occurs. Maximum bending moment due to moving load on a maximum bending moment due to the moving load छ जुन सिम्पली सपोर्टेडमा अकर हुन्छ त्यो के कारण हुन्छ अन्डर द लोड द लोडको कारण हो यो हुन्छ. A simply supported beam carries two equal concentrated load W at the distance L upon 3 from the either support. The maximum bending is a simply supported beam. A simply supported beam carries two equal concentrated load. Supported beam छ दुईटा concentrated load equally carry गर्छ at distance L upon 3. distance कति हो L upon 3 from the either support. The maximum bending moment WL upon 3 हुन्छ यसको, या W upon 4 हुन्छ, W5 WL upon 8, 2 upon 5 WL, यसो हुन्छ WL upon 3. The maximum deflection of a simply supported beam of length L with central concentrated load W is maximum development and simply supported maximum deflection हुन्छ either length इसको L भयो with central concentrated load W concentrated load W भयो भने WL square upon 48 EI WL square 124 EI WL square 148 EI LQ और WL square upon 8 EI इसको आंसर हुन्छ WLQ upon 48 EI. Euler's formula stated that the buckling load P from the column of L, the both end hinge at whose least moment of inertia and modulus of elasticity of a material of a column I and E respectively is given P upon EI L square or P upon pi square EI upon L square P equals to EL square upon EI P equals to pi EI upon L square. Answer is answer P equals to pi square EI upon L square. Pi square EI upon L square. Strain energy if the member may be equated to average resistance into displacement 1 upon stress into strain into stress into volume of the member 1 upon stress square into volume of member upon Young's modulus. इसको आंसर है the work done on the unit volume of material as simple tensile force is gradually increased from 0 to the value of causing rupture is called modulus of resilience, modulus of toughness, tangent modulus, none of the modulus of toughness. Poisson's ratio mu is defined as ratio of transverse strain to axial strain, modulus of ratio of transverse strain to transverse strain, modulus of ratio of axial strain, none of the the Poisson's ratio mu is defined as ratio of transverse strain to strain axial strain. Point of contraflexure is in a loaded beam is the point where bending moment is maximum. The bending moment changes sign. The shear force change sign. None of the bending moment change the sign. Bending moment change sign. Bending moment लेके change sign गर्छ. Point of contraflexure जब लोडेड हुन्छ बीममा त्यतिखेर bending moment change गर्छ sign. A rod of L length L and the area cross sectional area A whose material has a modulus of elasticity of thermal expansion alpha is subjected to a change of temperature delta T. The change in the length is L the moment of inertia of a triangular lamina of the side B and D about its centroidal axis parallel to the side D is given by BD cube upon 12 is given by BD cube upon 12. Stress develop in the elastic body due to the external force. Does not depend upon elastic constant. Depends on elastic constants. Depends partially. None of the above. Stress develop in the an elastic body. Stress the elastic body man develop हुन्छ due to external force. External force does not depend on elastic constant. Elastic constant no depend हुँदैन. Modulus of resilience is defined as strain energy per unit volume of the elastic body. केमा डिपेन्ड हुन्छ? Modulus of resilience is defined as the strain energy per unit of the elastic body. Per unit of the elastic body. Per unit of the elastic body. Per unit of an elastic body. A beam is in a beam of I section, the maximum shear force is carried by the upper planes, the wave, the lower planes, any of these. The wave ले के गर्छ बीममा I section के भन्छ maximum shear force carry गर्छ. In a short column with eccentric loading. Short column में eccentric loading हुन्छ. The neutral axis passes through the centroid of the section. Neutral axis here चाहिँ centroid बाट pass हुन्छ. Centroid of the section. In short column with the eccentric load, neutral axis passes through the centroid of the section. Centroid of the section बाट pass हुन्छ. In a long column with one end fixed and other free, if slenderness ratio increases, critical stress remains constant, increase, decrease, and any of these decrease. A material having identical properties of all directions. A material having identical properties in all directions. हर एक डायरेक्शन में identical property. Elastic, homogeneous, isotropic, any of these isotropic. कुनै पनि मेटेरियलको आइडेन्टिकल प्रपर्टी हरेक डाइरेक्सनमा भयो भने आइसोट्रोपिक हुन्छ. The ratio of the deformation of bar due to its own weight to deform due to the load equal to its weight is half, 1 half, 2 or 4 half. The ratio of deformation of a bar due to own weight due to the deformation due to axial load equals 1/2 हुन्छ यसको आन्सर. Cantilever beam is loaded uniformly through its length. Cantilever beam is loaded uniformly through its length. The shape of the shear force will be right angle triangle. इसको के भन्छ शेप shear force हो right angle triangle हुन्छ क्यान्टिलिभर बीममा. Two prismatic beam A and B have same length. दुईटा prismatic beam छ त्यसको length same छ A र B को. The one have larger stronger in flexure. One will be stronger in flexure. Moment of inertia, section modulus, area of cross section, none of these. Area of cross section, area of modulus A, section modulus के भन्छ यसको having larger सेक्सन मोडुलस सेक्सन along strong in flexure मा strong हुन्छ. Load required to produce with unit deflection is known. Load required to produce unit deflection is known as toughness, stiffness, flexibility, flexibility, stiffness. Load required to produce unit deflection. Load जो छ produce गर्छ unit deflection उसलाई के भन्छ stiffness. At the point of application of concentrated load on a beam, there is certain change of slope of a beam. At the point of application of concentrated load on a beam, there is a sudden change of slope. Slope में क्या होता है? Change of bending moment. Castiglione's theorem are valid for elastic structure, truss, beam, or linear structure. Elastic structure. The buckling load will be maximum from a column. The buckling load will be maximum for a column if one of the column is clamped and the other end is free. Both of the column are clamped. Both ends of the column are hinged. The end of the column is hinged and free. End is free. Both ends of the column are clamped. Both clamped होनु पर्यो. Which of the following material is highly elastic? Steel. Two beams of the equal cross-sectional area are subjected to equal bending moment if the one beam has a square cross-sectional and other has a circular section, then circular section beam will be stronger.